Today we're going to be talking about wrappers. Um, not this kind of wrapper. Not this kind of wrapper. This kind of wrapper with the W. If you're as bad at spelling as I am, I'm sorry. I'm a really bad speller. Let's talk about why there is this thing called a wrapper class. So you have your primitive, and it's chilling right here. Let's say we have an int. It's just a bag of ones and zeros, right? Just a couple ones and zeros. There's nothing else. No helper functions kind of helping out. No special easy things that I can use to manipulate this in a certain way, which is why somebody created this thing called a wrapper class. Okay, it wraps a primitive data type in this shell that has all sorts of useful functions. And one of these is a maximum. One of them is a min, and there are all sorts. There's a whole bunch of them. This is also useful a little bit later on when we get to array lists. Certain lists and certain objects can only hold other objects. And you know it's not an object? A primitive. But you know what is an object? A primitive inside of an object. Wrapped inside of it. Okay. So enough about what it is. Let's take a look at how to actually make one of these. Okay. So whenever you make a normal int, you would say something like int a equals 10, right? You have your data type, which is int, and it's blue. You can see that it's a primitive. You have the name a, and you have the value 10. Very self-explanatory. Now, when you make a wrapper class for any primitive, you have to type out integer. You have to type out the entire thing, and the first letter has to be capitalized. Integer b equals 10. You can't just do that. You have to say new integer. So let's take a look at how this is different. Because wrapper classes are objects, we need to construct a new object. And that's what we're doing here. We're creating a new integer wrapper with the number 10 as a parameter. Now, both A and B have the number 10 in them somewhere. It's just that for A, it's just the int. But for B, you have the int wrapped in all this other stuff. So for B, we could say something like, let me erase this. We could say something like system out print line. Well, first of all, I'll print out B and show you what happens. Printing out one of these objects is pretty straightforward. You just print out the object, right? It'll print out the value associated with it. But what if we wanted to get what's the biggest possible value that we could do, right? We could say dot max value. This will say whatever type this is, let's get the biggest thing that it could possibly be. Ooh. Notice this has nothing to do with this value right here. This is tied intrinsically to the integer wrapper class. And you can make this with any primitive type. Let's say I make one for a character, character, right? You'd say character C equals new character, and you would put your character in there, right? Does that make sense? You do this for Boolean, double, long, float, any primitive. Very nice, very nice. So the other thing is that you probably have seen string. String is not a wrapper class. String is its own class, okay? So just remember that. They're built off of primitives in order to be a wrapper class.